Everyone expected her to stay silent. Zaria Washington had only been at Westwood High for 2 months, and in that short time, she had already learned the unspoken rules. Keep your head down. Don't speak unless spoken to. And above all, don't make waves. She wasn't just the new girl. She was the only black girl in a predominantly white, privileged school, tucked deep in a suburban neighborhood where people smiled politely but carried prejudice in their tone. Her family had moved from Atlanta to this town for her father's job promotion. Her parents believed it would be a better school. A safer area. More opportunity. But no one prepared Zaria for the cold stares. The whispers. The classmates who mimicked her accent or touched her braids without permission like she was an exhibit. Still, she smiled. She nodded. She kept it together. Until they touched her collar. It started on a chilly Monday morning. Zaria wore a dark green hoodie under her school blazer, a piece of comfort that reminded her of home. She didn't think much of it, until the group of senior boys passed her by her locker. Brett, Chase, and Dylan. The self-declared rulers of the school. Athletes. Entitled. Loud. Brett tugged at her hoodie string. Didn't know we were dressing like thugs today, he joked loudly. A few kids nearby laughed. Zaria froze, her heart pounding. She didn't look at them. She turned toward her locker. But Chase wasn't done. Hey, what's under there? Gold chains, he teased, reaching toward her neck. Before she could back away, Dylan grabbed the front of her collar and yanked it forward like she was a rag doll. Let's see what you're hiding, little gangster, he laughed. That was the moment something snapped. Zaria had endured the stares. The whispers. The sideways comments masked as jokes. But this was different. This was violation. This was assault. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She remembered the voice of her Aunt Renee from back home, never let anyone make you feel small. Not with words. Not with hands. She dropped her backpack and grabbed Dylan's wrist with a sharp, fluid motion. A twist. A pivot. Her body moved like water, fast, clean, controlled. His wrist bent back painfully and he yelped in shock, stumbling backward. Chase tried to step forward, but Zaria planted her feet and raised her voice, not yelling, but clear, firm. Touch me again, and I will make sure you regret it. The hallway fell into stunned silence. Zaria stood tall, her hoodie slightly shifted, her expression calm. For the first time, people were seeing her, not just looking at her. The boys didn't laugh. They didn't speak. A few students had already pulled out their phones, filming the aftermath. A teacher came rushing over moments later, demanding answers. The boys stumbled through their excuses. Zaria stayed silent, letting the truth unravel on its own. The school launched an investigation after the video surfaced online. The footage showed everything. The grabbing. The aggression. The fear on Zaria's face. The grace with which she defended herself. By the end of the week, Brett, Chase, and Dylan were suspended. One faced disciplinary hearings from the school board. But what mattered more was the shift in the air. Girls she'd never spoken to before came up to her in the cafeteria. A Latina girl named Camila said, "Thank you. I've been too scared to say anything." An Asian student told her, "They made jokes about me too. I thought I was just being sensitive." Even a few white students admitted they never realized how bad it was until they saw it. Zaria didn't feel like a hero. She felt like someone who had finally stopped pretending. Someone who said, with her actions, enough. The school invited her to speak at the next student assembly. She wore her hoodie proudly, her curls pinned up, her voice steady as she told her story, not just about the hallway incident, but the days of silence before it. She didn't preach. She didn't beg. She told the truth. She ended her speech with a single sentence. "I am not here to make you comfortable. I am here to be respected." That moment sparked real change. New inclusivity programs were introduced. A safe space club formed. The principal released a school-wide email acknowledging the blind spots that had allowed students to suffer in silence. Zaria was later asked to join a diversity council to make sure no other student had to go through what she did, alone. At home, her parents hugged her tight. Her mom whispered, "You made your ancestors proud." And Zaria, for the first time in months, slept peacefully. Because now the school knew her name, not as the quiet black girl who kept to herself, but as the girl who stood tall when it mattered most. Zaria's story wasn't just about fighting back. It was about reclaiming space. Reclaiming voice. And reminding the world that silence isn't always weakness, sometimes, it's just the calm before a storm that changes everything.